Howdy, friends and neighbors. Did you miss us? Because we sure as heck missed you. It is episode 54 of the Electric Fancave on electricfeast.com. Kristin Latterell and Corrigan Vaughn here, and mostly back in action from last week's sickness that had Cor down for the count. But we are ready to bring you the latest and greatest in pop culture news. This week, we discuss the most awesome musical reunion since the news of the Nelly TLC New Kids on the Block tour, the new all-male Ghostbusters movie, the return of Blue Steel to the fashion runway, and some pretty sweet movie trailers that have captured our attention. So, before Corey succumbs to her sinuses, let's get to it.
Oh, indeed.
Indeed. Being sick. That's the worst.
It really is. It's, it's this plague that's been going around, and like everybody has gotten it. And I thought for once I had missed it. I get my flu shot, so I don't get the flu. I manage to eschew that every year. But it's that cold that hits. And so it's like the end of the quarter, like it's literally the last week. And it finally got me. And it's one of those sneaky ones where you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, my throat hurts a little, but maybe I'm just going to have like a little orange juice. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Or maybe you're like, maybe I slept with my mouth open.
Right. Exactly. I was like, I just got this aromatherapy thing that my mom gave me. And I was like, maybe I'm allergic to it. That's got to be it. And no, it's death. It is death. So the past week has been interesting. Not as interesting as the past like month or so has been for you, Kristin. You drive a black car, right?
So that must be the problem. Here's the thing, you guys.
That's the root of it.
I'm going to start with this, though. Yeah. You know what? No, I'm not even. I'm going to start with the first instance of this frightening trend that's happening in my life. Yeah. So in January, a friend and I had gone to a museum, and I was dropping him off his apartment. And so you pull up, and you're kind of like finishing the conversation you're having in the car. And this guy comes walking out of the apartment complex, and I see him out of the corner, and he is walking with purpose towards my car. Don't think a whole lot of it other than he knows where he's going.
That's weird. Yeah, okay.
He opens up the back door and gets in the back seat, and my friend and I turn and look at him, and we're like, he's like, hey guys, what's up? Like, not phased that he doesn't know who we are, okay? And so I'm staring at him. I don't even know what to say, because I would have thought when he didn't recognize us, he would have gotten out. And so he's like, hey guys, what's up? And my friend Alex is like, dude, we're not your ride. And he's like, oh, sorry. And he like hops out and walks away. And I'm like, it was so weird.
And he wasn't even like, he wasn't sketched out. Like the person who got in the car wasn't just like, oh my God. Like he was just like, oh, sorry.
He was
just like left.
Completely unfazed. I mean, like I said, he didn't even seem to care that he didn't know us.
Right.
And then when, didn't apologize. I mean, he did. He was like, oh, okay, sorry. And he like hopped out, like was not embarrassed. Did smell heavily of weed, so that probably was the reason. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I guess that'll help you. But then a couple weeks ago, I was waiting for a student at her dorm. And so I'm sitting there, and same thing. I see this girl come out, and she's looking at her phone, and she glances up, and then she looks down and is texting on her phone and walks over. And same thing, with purpose towards my vehicle. I'm like, no, this won't happen, because this already happened to me. She opens the door, starts to get in, and I'm fine. And she hasn't even looked at me. So, I mean, door's open. She has a phone in her hand.
She's like, the back door or the front?
No, the passenger side, front, shotgun. She's getting in, and I'm like, hey. And that, like, startles her out of her reverie. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm sorry. I thought you were my boyfriend's car. And I'm like, nope. She's like, I mean, could not have been more apologetic and embarrassed. She's like mortified that she just tried to get into my car.
Great.
So I'm like, nope, not, I'm like, I'm a little worried that you don't know what your boyfriend's car looks like,
she's
frankly.
Just getting into cars with strangers thinking they're
and here's the thing. I drive like a black Hyundai. It's not like I'm in a nice
common car either. Like I don't see it everywhere.
Well, and it's older. So it's like too old to be an Uber car. So I don't know, but it is black, so maybe people see black car and they think, oh, I should get it. I don't know. I mean, I was more almost worried about the girl who clearly was not paying close enough attention that she almost got into a strange person. What if I had been some kind of creeper and was like, yep, gonna murder you now?
You're just waiting for people who think that you're an Uber driver or something. And you're gonna
apparently. And if I wasn't so shocked, I would have been like, hey, you know what? This is very unsafe. You should not just be getting into people's cars while looking at your phone. Pay attention to your surroundings. As a woman to woman here, let me give you some advice. That is unsafe, because one day you're going to get into a car with someone and they're just going to take off with you. And they're not going to care that you're waiting for your boyfriend's car.
I That's a good lesson, Kristin.
Yeah. Anyway, but I don't know. It's a disturbing trend. I'm a little worried about it.
That's interesting because I didn't realize. I'm
going to see what happens in March.
The second one was someone who thought it was her boyfriend. So I thought that like maybe both thought it was like an Uber driver, but now there's some sort of weird like pull. You're like the Sarah Jessica Parker character in Hocus Pocus. It's like,
apparently I'm like Peter Piper to people.
Yeah, you are.
The Pied Piper, not Peter Piper.
Not Peter Piper.
No, Pied Piper. Peter Piper picked a bunch of pickled peppers and a bunch of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a bunch of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
I was about to make a reference to The Fall, but you were not able to keep watching that. But anyone who actually does watch The Fall knows why that Peter Piper rhyme is actually super creepy.
Aww. Yeah. Well, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I'm not going to ruin it for you.
But anyway, hey, you know what, people out there? Pay attention to your surroundings. Know your friends' cars.
Yep.
And just don't get into strange people's vehicles. And people could be like, you should lock your doors. I'm like, I should not have to lock my doors. Random people should just not get into cars they don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Maybe a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B.
Maybe, but I'm like, when I'm waiting for someone, so I was having the door open for her. She, after that girl got out, my friend came like within a minute, you know?
My car locks itself. If I like unlock it, then like nobody gets into it 10 seconds later. It just locks, which is a problem because it's really easy to lock myself out of it as a result. But that way, I guess, I don't know. It's really, my Civic Hybrid has a built-in, like, paranoia about hijackers and weed-soaked people.
This poor guy, too. And it was funny. It was only funny because my friend was with me. Yeah. If he hadn't been in the car with me, I don't even know what I would have done.
The dude or something like that.
If I had it, I probably would have stabbed him because I have a knife. I don't even have mace. I should probably get that.
You don't have like pepper spray? I feel like you would have.
No.
I thought you had pepper spray.
No, I don't carry that.
You should carry that because that's better than stabbing people.
I should, apparently. I don't know.
If people are going to be getting into your car randomly, you should have
people are going to get into my vehicles. I'm going to be like, ah!
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do you explain that to cops? I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's cool. Got in my car. Uber. Not always the greatest thing.
This is what Uber has done to us. Just into random people's cars. Like, oh, this is the right color. Drive me places. Although, well, here's the funny thing then. So our friend, Michelle, was like, oh, no, it's cool. I do it all the time. And she wasn't joking. This is literally a thing. Have we talked about this before?
Yeah.
Kristin?
Yes.
I mean, on the show. Like, not you
I don't know if we have or not.
Because, okay.
That's what makes this hard sometimes. I'm like, oh, no, we've definitely discussed this.
So apologies if we've brought this up before, but this is just such a baffling thing to me. I feel like it's worth sharing. And if you're a new listener and haven't heard about this, then, okay. Our friend lives in Houston, and she was watching, like, she was waiting for the bus one day, and she noticed that there was like a line of people, and then these cars would drive up to the bus stop, and people would get into them. And she was like, well, that's interesting. So now what most of us would do if we were curious about this would be to ask, right? You would go up to someone and be like, hey, what's this line for? Like, what is this just where you all wait for your ride or something? That's not what she did. Michelle instead went and just got in line and then got into someone's car. And lucky for her, it turns out that it really is like a carpool ride-sharing thing that they do there, where people will pull up and, like, they want to use the carpool lane because the traffic's really bad. And then they'll, like, pick up people, and then they can ride together to their destination in town. And, it's a nice little thing. But, like, who does that? Just gets into a car? Only
clearly lots of people.
Well, but I'm sure they asked first. Like, wouldn't you ask? Like, why are we doing this right now?
Would. Yeah. I would, but I'm also not Michelle. So
I don't like people enough to do that. But
me
Michelle
neither.
Is very outgoing.
Michelle is outgoing and likes people.
Yeah.
I do like people, and I don't like them enough to share a car with them. I don't know them.
Yeah.
Although, if this keeps happening, I'm going to start charging strangers who hop in my car.
Might as well. Like, you're basically running a service at this point. Just like, okay, fine, where are you going? Give me $10, I'll take you there.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's cheaper than Uber, I bet. I don't know. I've never actually taken Uber, but...
Me neither.
Anyways, so there's things that have happened this week.
It's quite a throwback week of sorts. I I think one of the most exciting ones for me, well, I don't know, actually, it's probably tied. But one of the more exciting things, like we'd already mentioned, there's a little bit of a musical reunion happening, and our inner emo 12-year-olds are very excited about it. Emo tweens. Dashboard Confessional announced that they are going back on tour for a short tour with Third Eye Blind people. What? Dashboard Confessional and Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, this is
it's going to be amazing.
Like, this is also, I mean, you comparing it to the TLC New Kids thing, Nelly, was apt because also, like, this is another set of bands that, like, didn't super coexist with one another because, like, I mean, Third Eye Blind had hits for a long time, sure, but like, they were mostly, like, kind of a, like, late 90s band, and then Dashboard was, like, a early mid-aughts kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, I guess it depends on if you like Chris Carrabba when he was in Further Seems Forever.
Well,
because I feel like
but
people kind of combine them, and lots of
yeah.
times he plays the same songs, you know.
Okay, I will grant that a little bit, but it's like kind of two separate like genres.
Yeah, and like kind of two different kinds of music a little bit. Yeah. Like Dashboard Confessional was like, I mean, if you guys know who we're talking about, just very sad. He was just a very sad man. And, you know what? But
like Third Eye Blind
so
was
relatable
because everyone happy.
He did. He made it sound happy. And I feel like the drums, and he had like lots of instruments, whereas Dashboard didn't have a whole lot going on for. I mean,
there's a lot of like screamy cry things.
There's a lot where you can tell he broke down in the middle of recording the song. And
like,
then
listen to like The Best Deceptions, and it's just like
brilliant dance.
Just raw.
And the raw and it's like you can tell he's like screaming. You're like, how far away from me did he have to get from the microphone to make that sound? Because it sounds like he's like drowning in a tunnel of sadness and tears.
It was perfect.
It's very
you're, like,
emotional.
An angsty high schooler, you know, and you're just like.
Honestly, sometimes when I'm feeling sad, I'll put it on. I'm like,
oh yeah. I have like epic breakup mixes from high school that have like Dashboard and Taking Back Sunday and Saves the Day and stuff like that. Like,
dude, I just remember my brother had a pretty bad breakup in high school. And it seemed like months. It probably wasn't. Actually, could have been. I don't know. For me, I'm thinking he needs to get serious help because every night you close the door and he would watch he had like the MTV DVD unplugged of Dashboard.
Oh my god.
And every night he's watching this. And I'm like, should we call someone? And my mom's like, oh, he'll be fine. I'm like, okay, I don't know, you know.
But that was therapy for a high schooler. Was
DVD so if you want to, I don't know, man. I feel like it could be very sad, but also so awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited about it. I will say I've seen Dashboard a couple times. I've never seen Third Eye Blind, despite living in the Bay Area, and so I'm like super stoked on that. Dashboard, Chris Carrabba, I don't know if it was just like at the height of his like fame or whatever, he got like douchey or whatever, but I remember going to one show where he like fed the trolls a little too much in the audience, and someone was kind of heckling him or whatever, but he like started just like throwing down and like getting really angry and like yelling at this dude and being like a jerk, and it kind of put me off Dashboard for a while. But then it was like he kind of like sank from the public eyes shortly after that, so I'm like, maybe he was just like he was done for a while.
And you know what, maybe he was going through a rough time and he didn't have he's
always going through a rough time.
He's always going through a rough time. And then when he was going through a good time, you're like, the music's not as good. You really should go back to when you were sad.
Right? Yeah. Well, this is the same thing. Like, Ben Gibbard has been releasing a few new songs, Death Cab for Cutie, and everyone's response to it is basically like, I hate to say it, but now that he's sad and divorced, his music's good again. Like, it is easier to write when you're sad.
I mean, what is Adele's next album going to be?
I know. Now she's like married with a kid.
She has a kid. Like, I don't know. I'm just so curious. I'm like,
it's hard because then you go from like Sheryl Crow writing like her like really gritty things and stuff like that to then being like, I'm gonna soak up the sun.
Yeah, and I'm like,
nope, that's not what we signed on.
Like, you had a niche. You know, we have enough sugary pop. We need feels. Sometimes we just want you to hit us right in the gut.
Exactly. So yeah, that's happening. I'm stoked on it though. Like, even though these are not within the same like world, Third Eye Blind and Dashboard Confessional, I feel like these are two things that I loved at times of my life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. Another thing I loved at a similar time as Dashboard was so there's news also that Zoolander, right? So for years we've been hearing there's going to be a Zoolander 2 for years and years. Now, Zoolander 1 is probably one of the more quotable movies that I quote, oddly. In like, I don't know how many times a day I use, or times a week, I should say.
And I think like everybody
is this
does
a center for ants? Like, you're always using that one.
Constantly.
Or like, not now, Todd, when someone like interrupts me or bothers me, Anyway.
Or that someone's so hot right now. Like,
oh, so constantly. Yeah. I mean, today I actually used it because I was really hot sitting outside in the sun. So there you go. But so we've been hearing years there's this rumor of it's going to come back. But this past weekend, Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson showed up on the Valentino show runway and blue steeled his way down, and it is glorious.
It's great because and there's like at first people like they're not super paying attention because these fashion shows last a while, right?
Yeah.
And so like they do their kind of like golf clap or whatever as people come down the runway, and they're like writing notes or they're like texting and things. And so it starts kind of like a quiet little clap, and then as they move down the runway, all of a sudden it's just like a roar. Everyone realizes what's happening.
Yeah.
And like they never break.
No.
They're just
oh no. I mean, this is not Jimmy Fallon trying to do a walk off. This is Ben Stiller himself, people. This is it's just gold. It's so gold. It's so perfect too.
Yeah. You're like it's Derek Zoolander and Hansel. Like you don't question.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
So allegedly that was them kind of being like, it's happening, it's coming, get ready.
I think Paramount like verified that as well. So I'm like, you
know what? I'm going to wait until I see a trailer. I'm going to withhold my excitement. Although this was very exciting and I loved it, I'm like, I'm still going to wait because this has been years where I've been hearing this news. So.
Supposedly, it's supposed to come out next February. So, I mean, that would mean they're filming soon, and then we should start seeing trailers. I'm excited. I mean, there's always that risk that it's going to be like Dumb 2, like Dumb and Dumber 2. I'm like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to find out they've aged and they're not funny or they can only do the same shtick or whatever. Like, that's my thing is I just don't want a rehash of Zoolander. I want a new movie. If
Me too.
They're gonna do it, It's
with cameos though, but I want cameos up the wazoo, but also cameos from the old one.
Yeah, I need Billy Zane back.
Yes,
because
and I need Dave Duchovny.
Oh my gosh, David Duchovny. Yes,
so good.
Absolutely. I think that would be glorious. So yeah, I'm like tentatively excited about it. Our friend Alexandra Blakey is like, this is probably going to be terrible, but I'm excited. I'm like, I'm not even going to do the probably going to be terrible. I'm gonna
go with excited. We're gonna just be optimistic, you guys.
Yeah, as we do. Sometimes we're right to be, and sometimes we're wrong.
Sometimes our dreams are horribly crushed beneath the feet of trampled wildebeests, and it's unfortunate. Sometimes we're Mufasa.
Sometimes you're the Mufasa, and sometimes
you're the wildebeest.
Wildebeest, yeah. I don't.
I'm so terribly sad.
And like, there was really no.
Hey, Chris Kruba, I got a song for you, buddy.
It's like basically what we just said. Either you're the thing that gets trampled, or you're the thing that tramples. I don't think that was what we were doing.
So either you're Rafiki, or you're Mufasa.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
that's like a dark turn.
Dark, yeah.
That escalated quickly. Oh, man.
There's some more Ghostbusters.
There is puzzling news here. So you'll remember our excitement over the reboot of the Ghostbusters franchise a few weeks ago, not even a month, or maybe it was months. It seems like it wasn't that long ago.
I mean, we just recently got March, Kristin. Like, let's
so I don't
come
know.
to terms with this. It's March.
Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that we just very recently were very excited about the Ghostbusters reboot with the female cast of Ghostbusters, which sounded just fun and fresh and awesome. And then we got news yesterday that they are also now planning a all-male Ghostbusters movie again after the all-females Ghostbusters movie, possibly starring Channing Tatum and allegedly our boy Chris Pratt.
I'm so conflicted because if you recall, when we talked about the Sony leaks, remember that was in there that it was like, they were talking about a Ghostbusters and we were like, oh, that would have been fun, whatever. But then we heard about the female one and we were like, oh, that's a way better way to do it, though. Like, if you're not going to do the original cast, doing the female one is awesome. This is a great way to do it. And like, okay, do your 22 or 21 Jump Street
MIB crossover
thing. Like, go ahead, do it. That's cool.
Whatever.
But like, I mean, I read an article that I think put it well. That was basically like, what this does is just like perpetuate the idea that there's things for girls and there's things for boys. Yeah. You know, and it's like okay, like all the fanboys weren't going to go out and see the girl version. We need to cater to them and make a guy one. And it just, to me, I'm like why? Like I said, either make one with the, like, a guy one that has, you know, the original cast, which you can't do now, obviously, because we don't have Egon, so missed opportunity. But, like, you know, either do that or just stick with the female reboot. I love Chris Pratt. Me too. I love Channing Tatum, for that matter, but I don't need this. Like, and they're trying to do, like, a Ghostbusters cinematic universe, so then they envision them coming together into like an Avengers type thing. Like, then why not just start that way? Like, how about a movie where both sets exist and they, like, you know, join forces or whatever? Like, I don't get it, Kristin.
Yeah, I don't get it. I remember, like, my initial reaction was, like, when I first saw the story and I'm reading it, I'm like, so the all-girls one wasn't good enough?
Right! Like, that's exactly what you get out of it. Like,
and so and all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I guess you're right, because boys' movies are better. I don't know! And so, and the article, I think it was the same one probably that we read, was like, one of these statistically, that wasn't even a word, hello. Yeah. No. Statistically is going to do better than the other one.
Right.
And so you've got, and I mean, I'm sorry, you're going to put Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum in a movie? Which one do you think is good? I mean,
right.
I don't know. Yeah, so for me, I was like, that's a good, and that was a good point. I didn't think of that initially, but for me, I was just kind of like, so a girls movie wasn't good enough, so you had to go and make a boys movie because they're the real stars, so we're going to get, like, the real A-list. I mean, they're gambling on McKinnon and Jones in this movie.
Right. It's a risky cast versus
like a solid gold cast, which are, I don't know. So for me, I was just bummed where I'm like, come on, just let us have one. Just
either give it to us or don't.
Don't half-ass it.
Like,
you don't half-ass two things. You whole-ass one thing.
Exactly. Listen to the wise words of Ron Swanson. It's, you know.
So I was just, I guess more that was it. I was just like, oh, okay, all right.
And it's just it's like a baffling move because it was like amidst all this like Sony nonsense that came out.
And they're like, no, we're going to stand by this.
This is the one bright star they had, was that it's like, okay, they may have said some racist things and maybe some sexist things and things like that, but what we got out of this is like this female Ghostbusters, and like largely people were super into it. There were, of course, those people who are like, my childhood or whatever. Yeah. But like, for the most part, I think people have been very much behind it. So it's just like there's no reason to do this, except, no, there's obviously a reason. It's money. It's money is the reason to do it. A Chris Pratt, Channing Tatum Ghostbusters is going to make a ton of money. So, you know, of course. And I'm going to watch it. Like, let's not, you know, be ridiculous about this.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Like, if you were, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I'm not necessarily buying the whole, like, oh, we want to, like, start this whole universe. I'm like, then you're right. Like, why don't you just start off combining it? Maybe had a boy and, like, had two girls and two boys and, like, mix it that way and start with it. Just be this mixing, like, a Power Rangers team of Ghostbusters. That's a mixture of everything. And
there's not really any solid, the reason to reboot it as a female thing was to do something different. Right? Yeah. There's no reason to, like, make a girl version and a boy version. It's like, this isn't Barbie and G.I. Joe. You know? Like, let's just, like, put them in the universe together, and that's fine. So, I don't know. I think, I say I'm torn about it, but I feel like I'm actually kind of anti this, like, mostly.
I'm just bummed. I'm just bummed. Yeah. I'm not even, like, so much mad, because I'm like, of course they did. Like, of course they couldn't have an all-females Ghostbusters and try and do something different and fun, because it's Hollywood, and they want to rehash and go back to what they know works, and instead of taking risks with all these things that we've ever covered in this podcast of, you know, different, you know, like a whole female reboot or more, you know, diversity in films. Like, of course they're not going to do that, because that's not where it's proven to make them the most money. And so for me, I was just like, okay, like... You're right. Obviously, I'm not going to pass up a chance to see Chris Pratt. Yeah. So obviously, we would go and see it. But to me, I'm just more like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good way of putting it. It's a bummer more than
Just
anything else.
Just a bummer.
Give us...
one step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
This is where I kind of seeing it, so. Oh, well.
But there are some nice
Debbie
trailers that came out.
But, okay, can we talk about Tomorrowland first?
We can talk about Tomorrowland.
You guys, we're about to actually now crank the excitement level up because... So, I remember a while back when they even talked about Disney doing this Tomorrowland movie kind of based on Tomorrowland at Disneyland, if you've been there. If you haven't, you should make that part of your bucket list. I was kind of
a quick side note, though. Did you hear they're getting rid of Interventions?
Oh.
Yeah, they are. It's like you go, oh, but then when you think about it, it sucks.
Then I was like, I think I've only been on it a couple times. I'm like, why did we walk through this again?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Anyway, back to Tomorrowland.
So I was kind of like, okay, I'm intrigued because I'm not sure what that means, but I also remembered Haunted Mansion, so I was not super stoked.
Hey, I love Haunted Mansion, okay?
Sure you did.
I watch that movie literally every time it's on TV.
Of course.
Every time.
Yeah. That doesn't really give me a lot of... I watch lots of things just because they're on TV. I mean, I've seen Accepted like a zillion times.
That's fair.
But
okay.
Anyway, so the point is that they're making this movie. I was kind of like, okay, I'm intrigued by that. And then like the teaser trailer was epic. It was barely anything. It was basically Robertson, the girl from Life Unexpected, holding that pin. She like holds this pin and it like transports her. And I was like,
it's so cool and so seamless.
So cool. And when she's holding it in the car and her dad, Tim McGraw's in it. I'm like,
Tim McGraw's in it. What?
Who I was stoked about.
Yeah.
And then so with the new trailer came out where she goes to visit George Clooney, who's some kind of like inventor sage who knows about Tomorrowland. And so I'm still not entirely sure what the plot is. Like, I think Hugh Laurie is a bad guy, maybe?
Well, I thought he was at the beginning of it, but then like at the end of the trailer, they're kind of like talking
they think
together.
You're going to save it. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if that was like his big monologue at the end, like, you know, in the evil guy monologue. So I don't know. We don't know what Hugh Laurie's situation is. But she gets then they are after her because she goes to George Clooney's house. Who then oh my gosh, it looks so fun, and amazing, and whimsical, and magical, and beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous!
It looks beautiful. Like my excitement level is visually. And you'd already actually. This is going backwards, but you'd given me an article about how the new Cinderella is just beautiful, and I was like, that is why I'm so excited about it. And this has that same kind of just like. Although this will be obviously very different, but I'm just saying more visually wise, I'm like, it looks just pretty.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. The fact, her holding that pin and jumping in between the world, whatever's happening there is like.
It's amazing.
Oh my God.
I love, like, I think Disney, it's almost like in the wake of like it's joining with Pixar and things like that. Mm-hmm. I love when they are managing to make films like this that really appeal to everybody. Like it's not a kid's movie. You know, it's like anyone should be enthusiastic about this watching it because it looks like it activates the imagination and it's so pretty. And it's like, I mean, it looks like it's going to have like an interesting, fun action adventure plot and all that kind of stuff. Like it appeals across the board to people.
Totally.
And so I think it's just going to be, I hope if it keeps up with the trailer and is as good as the trailer looks, it's going to be so much fun to watch and
so much fun.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that's so rare when you watch a trailer that you're just all of a sudden like magic.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I think Disney in a really good movie can do if it has like if it's centered around something that's kiddish. So technically like the main character is a young girl. Yeah. But this idea of like they tap into like your inner childhood.
Yes.
So you're looking at this being like, oh, like you remember being young and like playing make believe and going to these crazy lands and like this girl gets to do that somehow in whatever it is that's going on. And the crotchety old guy who's being played by George Clooney, you know, I don't know, just they tap into that. And so like older people are like, oh, I remember that. And it gives you that magic kind of reminds you of that.
Yeah.
But then for younger kids, it's like they're still in it. So obviously they're stoked to go see it. And so I feel like movies that have done that really well. I think Super 8 did that really well where it like tapped into your like adventure series. And like it was like, the same thing with Goonies. It's like kids always dream of being on a treasure hunt. And as an adult, you always, I mean, still, I would go on a treasure hunt if that happened. Like, that would be amazing. You know what I mean? Or Sandlot. Like, you remember playing with your friends in the backyard and kids,
and
you know?
the dog that's larger than life.
The dog that's larger, when in reality is probably not that large. Or anytime I see a dog that's bigger than me, I'm like, oh my gosh, look, it's the beast. You know? And you're like, and so it's just so... And so I think this movie is going to do that really well of being able to tie both of those in, whereas like adults are going to be like, this looks magical and fun, I want to go. And then kids are also going to want to go. So I think you're right. And I think if Disney kind of returns to that formula instead of just trying to make kid movies, you know, more. And I think they can, you know, I think it's not something that's, and obviously this is like a, technically, if you want to call it an old school idea. I mean, Tomorrowland's been around forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's not like it's new, I guess. But kind of is. And I just feel like there's going to be so many callbacks to like the rides and and old Disneyland, which is just fun. And I don't know. I just honestly think if Walt was around, he would love this movie.
I was just about to say that. I was like, I think that this is kind of Walt's dream right here.
I think so. I think Walt was like, this is what I thought when I made Tomorrowland. You know what I mean? So I just feel like he would be excited. And not that I ever... can imagine to think I know what he means, but in life, but still. Anyway, very fun, very fun. And then another, right? Because the next one's also Pixar.
Yeah, it's Pixar.
Is Inside Out.
Yes.
So if you guys have seen these trailers, it's the one where like the young girl has her like feelings in her head, and they talk, and they're all different people, and
and it's like Amy Poehler, Bill Hader,
Mindy
Kaling, Phyllis. I don't know what her last name is, but she played Phyllis on The Office.
Phyllis from The Office. Phyllis from The Office.
And who's the other guy? Lewis Black. Lewis Black is the other one. And yeah, so the trailer like officially premieres on Ellen today. Was it yesterday or today? I don't know. At some point this week. But you can watch it. It's linked on the blog. The thing about this is, like, it looks so, like, it's so cute, and I'm into it. It also looks like it may be, like, the most depressing movie on the planet.
Yeah, I'm not as excited about this one. I won't lie to you. But I think the concept's really interesting. Yeah. And so that's where I'm like, let's gamble, because that could be really lame or super awesome. It could go either way, you know?
It really
So, I was like, I applaud them for that. So I'm like, not sure about it. I think I'll wait, because the last trailer, I was like, the teaser that kind of came out where her parents were there. Yeah. I don't know. But so I'm stoked, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, essentially in this trailer, it's like something gets like mixed up, like basically the sad feeling accidentally turns one of the joyful feelings sad, and then all these things ensue as a result. And it's like it's making the kid like super depressed. And so I'm like wondering like kind of where, like, is this going to be some sort of depression commentary, or is that just like I don't know what to expect of what the movie's saying.
A puberty commentary, because she's like 13,
right? So she's in that age where I'm like, I don't know like what the target or what it represents, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like with a better sense of what it means, I'll be more enthusiastic. But I love the voice actors in it.
Yeah,
and it does
so you can't go wrong there.
Like it has potential to be really cute. It just also looks like it could just be like the first 10 minutes of Up over and over and over again if it's not careful.
Yeah, my soul can't handle that.
Yeah.
So. Like, I'll have to listen to some Dashboard Confessional to get over it. At that.
Seriously.
Actually, here's, I'm like, spoiler alert, they're having Chris Carrabba do the theme song to Inside Out. You're like, oh, the plaster tinted from your fist. Anyway.
Oh, where you had your first kiss.
Remind you that the memories will fade.
You guys, Dashboard, if you don't know them, purist, feeling sad.
Yeah.
You gotta check them out.
And then the last one was Netflix is on a roll with their original series, I think, because we've...
Oh, and how did we not put on the list to talk about Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I legitimately just thought of it as I said that, because I was about to say, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is magical and wonderful, and everyone should watch it.
It is so amazing.
It is just, it is quick. Frankly, I knew I was going to love it in the first 60 seconds of it, when she comes walking out and the newscast starts, and you're like, yep,
This has the best theme song in the history of time.
It's
for one
so
thing. It's like,
good.
I wake up in the morning singing it. I've binge watched all the way through once, and I've rewatched several of them a couple times now. It's like we told you a few weeks ago when we were talking about it, we were like, it seems so upbeat and uncynical and things like that, and it really is. And it takes things that you could be cynical about and turns them on their head, and it's just... But, and like, even in that, like, I think I was expecting it to be cheesy in that way, and it's not, because she's so, like, she's a realist, but she's also an optimist simultaneously.
Right. Yeah.
And the situations are just so funny, and it's the one-liners are
and the
abundant.
things that she says are just so gold.
Yeah,
too.
I think what in the ham sandwich is going to be my
ham sandwich.
Yeah, what in the ham sandwich? I got a job. Oh my gosh. She's so good.
And she talks to herself, which is adorable, because she lived in a bunker for 15 years. But yeah, anyway, it's brilliant. Everyone, you guys should all check it out. If you, after you're crying over Dashboard Confessional, seriously watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and it'll lift your spirits just in jiffy.
It will. But
anyway, so the point is that I think Netflix is on a roll. They're doing a really good job, and I think this new trailer, I think it looks cool. They have a Daredevil series that's coming out. Now, I know most people were not into the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, and I will grant you it did have its low points.
Are you about to defend it?
No. Well, Jennifer Garner's in it, and so I always just hold a special place in my heart, okay?
Okay.
So I'm just putting that out there that it's acknowledged.
Okay.
I know people hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it because she was in it. Not that she really did a whole lot for it, if we're being honest. But...
Did you watch the Elektra movie?
I may or may not own both of those films.
Wait, there's more than one?
No, Daredevil and Elektra.
Gotcha. I was like, how?
Yeah.
What in the ham sandwich? Okay.
Yeah, what in the ham sandwich? Anyway.
Okay.
So anyway, but this actually looks really entertaining. And so it's, the Daredevil. So if you guys don't know if anybody knows about it, he's a blind superhero, lives in New York, kicks butt, is rad. So it looks pretty cool. I don't know, there's that one part at the very end where he's like going to walk into the room, and it's like, you know that part when he goes to walk into the room and he hears a voice? Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, anyway, I think it looks fun.
Yeah, my only complaint about the trailer is that it gives it this with the music and everything, it gives it a weird, like, early 2000s goth feel, like, not even goth, like, the kind of people who listen to, like, Stained and stuff like that would be, like,
would you say, like, Evanescence?
Like Evanescence. It feels a little like an Evanescence video. A little bit. So there is that, but still, I think, like, it looks like once it gets in action, it kind of feels like it could have, like, kind of like some of the darker Sci-Fi Channel shows, or, even, like, Orphan Black and that kind of stuff. I mean, nothing is Orphan Black. Don't get me wrong, people, I'm not trying to equate anything to that, but, I think it looks like it could be, like, a dark, fun thing, and, it's got a good villain who's, like, looks bananas, and I feel like it's going to be...
I'm excited. I think it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, and it's coming out, what, June? Is that what it said? Like, it's June 1st?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, it comes out, like, fairly soon. It's going to be released all at once, at midnight, whatever day it comes out.
As Netflix does.
Yeah, which is one of, like, the things that I love so much about Netflix shows, is, like, you can binge them or not. So it's like watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, it was like, I was sick, so I just spent the entire day watching it, and so this will come out, and if you want to, you can just watch it all at once.
Actually, it looks like it's coming out in April.
Oh, April, okay. I knew it was
April 10th.
Soon. April 10th, okay. April 10th, midnight, Pacific time, you can watch it all at once, and we'll probably, as a result, then we'll have to have Mac back, because that was, like, the first thing he said was, like, I'd like to talk about Daredevil.
Cool. Let's do it. Yes, when that premieres, he will be our reviewer of that. So tell him to get to watch in that weekend.
Yeah. But I think I'm looking forward to it. I feel good about
it. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So the trailers this week, I feel like they've done us well.
They have. They've redeemed us.
After our initial misgivings about pop culture this week.
Oh, man.
It's not true. We kind of sandwiched. It was like we started.
We did. We sandwiched.
and then some like ambivalence / negativity, and then ended on a
positive. We should always end on a positive note, you know?
Yeah, that's a good way to do things. Like Matt Best on Matt Best versus Friends, which, by the way, I totally forgot to say a couple weeks ago. Obviously, Kristin had been on Matt Best versus his Friends, and we talked about that. I, too, was on Matt Best versus his Friends recently, so you should go check that out on iTunes. You can hear me talk about race and why I don't like Superman and my
oh my gosh, as if we've never heard you talk about. I'm just kidding.
You know what?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it's okay. And I don't really talk about it that long, but Matt is a huge Superman fan, so it needed to be discussed, obviously.
Right. As you do.
As you do. So there's that. Hey, are we reading All the Light We Cannot See for Fancave Fiction Club?
Are we? I don't know.
It kind of unofficially chosen. Seemed like people were kind of interested in it. So
cool.
Let's say that we're announcing it right now that for Fancave Fiction Club this month, we'll read All the Light We Cannot See. We had such a blast discussing Pride and Prejudice and zombies.
So fun. Really great.
It was amazing. Really good insights on things. We tangented in some cool ways about characters that we would redeem or
get rid of.
They would get their comeuppance if we were to rewrite certain novels or whatnot. And we had a good time. So join us for the next one. I'm sure it'll be fun as well. All the Light We Cannot See, which is like the big, like, huge book of 2014. Everybody read it and loved it and all that kind of stuff. So it looks long. It looks like a big book, but it's actually really short because like the chapters are like a half page, things like that. So
cool.
We'll read that, and then we'll tell you when we decide to actually meet, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, super fun. Super duper fun.
Super duper fun, yo. It'll be great. Mm-hmm. All right, then.
Cool. Well, hey, guys. This has been episode 54. Thanks for listening to us. If you do listen to us, we'd love to hear from you. You can follow us on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and you can obviously find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, the blog on electricfeast.com, all those places. So rate and review us on iTunes, drop us a line. We love hearing your guys' feedback, ideas for things you want us to talk about, all that kind of good stuff. So we do listen. We're here for you.
We are.
Much like a old friend.
Or a wildebeest.
Yes. Whatever the case may be. So anyway, so for Electric Fan Cave, I'm Kristin Latterell.
I'm Corrigan Vaughn.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace out, everybody.
Hey.
So, I'm gonna attempt to make some semblance of sense. I haven't been able to, think straight in a week, so
that's all right. I got you.
Oh, boy.